Whenever it comes to watches, a lot of us like a bargain, but we also like quality. So there's got to be a nice trade-off somewhere. You can get quality, but you've got to pay a lot of money for it. And you can get a bargain, but then you don't get quality. Now, what I've got in my hands is a Yema. And the reason I speak about quality and bargains is because the last couple of watches that I've had on the channel from Yema were very expensive. They featured their in-house movement, what have you, so they were priced accordingly. And a lot of us, we try to get a watch that maybe from a reputable brand, but not paying too much money. And I put the word reputable and the word quality in the same sentence when it comes to Yema, because in the past, and I say recent past, I've seen a lot of complaints in the comment section of my videos, the actual watch, the company itself, quality control issues. What I've got in my hands here, I've actually scrutinized it and looked very carefully for quality control issues. Now you might say, oh, they've hand-picked a watch and sent it to you. I didn't tell them this. I didn't tell them that I'm going to be looking at a watch, with that critical eye to see what I'm hearing from my comments. Is it applicable? This is actually a prototype. After spending a week on the wrist with this watch, I can tell you there's been no quality control issues, but the watch is not perfect. Not all of it. And I know that sounds funny, but I will explain. So without further ado, let's flip the camera and let's dive into this brand new variant of their vintage diver from Yema. Now, on a technical standpoint, the first thing that I encountered with this watch when I got it in was the bezel. It was a little bit stiff. It loosened up. A couple of days of playing with the watch, using it. Today is about 7 or 8 days later. The watch is lovely. The watch is great. And I say the watch because not all of the watch is lovely. And I said I'm going to explain that. I've got a room for improvement section. I'm going to elaborate about something which I think companies, not only Yema, companies like Yema should be looking at, maybe improving. And it's an area which I think brands like Yema or even other brands that I've had recent experience with, they're cost cutting. They're cutting the costs so that their bottom line is better, but they're not giving us the perceived value that we should. And I'll share more about that. But nonetheless, Yema has sponsored this video, so I will of course leave all the links in the description section. So by all means, feel free to check them out. And with this particular watch here, I'm actually getting some very vintage Omega Seamaster vibes. I think the layout, the handset, we all know that manufacturers back in the day were borrowing ideas from each other, and even today the same thing occurs. Basically, there's a little bit of design elements from watch brand A in watch brand B, C and D. They borrow from each other, for a better word. And that's quite normal in the watch industry. It's been happening for years. It still happens today. However, one thing I do want to say, I really have enjoyed the legibility of this watch, especially this white dial variant. I think it's a fresh, vibrant look. Not really a big fan of faux patina normally, but I think in this particular case it works. It actually has grown on me. When I first got the watch, I thought, gee, this is fresh. This is unusual. It's been an easy wear. It's been an easy wear, easy watch to get along with. And that faux patina, that lume, has also been a refreshing look going into a dark environment indoors. It's got that nice light green glow, which again has been a visual stimulus to me. But diving straight into the specs of this watch, with a case diameter of just over 39mm and a case height of 12.3, combined with a 45mm lug to lug, the wearing experience on this watch has been great. The crown is a 6.4mm signed screw down crown. The watch offers 200 meters of water resistance, and the total weight on the supplied bracelet, sized to my 18cm wrist, I measure exactly 144 grams. Now, the wearing experience on this watch has been good. I can't deny that. It's been comfortable. For a vintage style diver, coming in at just over 39mm and that case height, I have no issues, no complaints whatsoever. Even the comfort on that bracelet, which offers a taper from 20 down to 16mm, has also been enjoyable. But looking closer at that bracelet, there's no quick release spring bars on this particular unit. It offers split pins and a press clasp with 4 micro adjustable holes. There's also a flip lock to keep everything secure. Now, looking closer at that clasp, you'll notice there's also a diver's extension. So in keeping in theme with a vintage style watch, I can see what they've done here, but I'll share more about that in my room for improvement section. Now, turning my attention to the bezel of this watch, it's a 60-click unidirectional. It goes in one direction. Initially when the watch came in, it was a little bit on the stiffer side. It loosened up quickly. It's been perfect all week. The action is good, only minimal back play, and it locks into place beautifully. Now, one thing to remember, this is a prototype, so It's a pre-production version, but as far as I'm concerned, spending the week with this, I've not really found any faults with that watch head. Now the crystal used on this watch is a 2.2mm double dome sapphire. There's very good use of anti-reflective coating on the underside, and the legibility to that dial has been superb. Now, one of the key factors for me on this particular watch has been legibility. It's been a surprise, it really has. It's a white dial, a silver handset, very light faux patina markers, and I've had no issues reading this watch inside, outside, dark environments, anywhere. It's been really good. So that's been a surprise to me. And I think one of the factors, if you look at that minute hand, it extends all the way to a point and literally hugs every single minute marker around that dial. So setting the time on this has been very easy. Reading the time on this has been also very easy. So kudos and high marks in that department. Now if I turn the watch over, you'll notice there's a solid case back with an embossed emblem from Yema. And hiding behind that case back is a Sellita SW200. 4 Hz or 28,800 vibrations per hour. Automatic, features both hacking and hand winding, and I think offering the Sellita in this instead of the in-house movement, it really brings the price right down and gets this to a more affordable range. Now I did speak about that lume being a faux patina, and dimming the lights, I've actually really enjoyed this lume. It's been nice and evenly applied, good legibility, easy to read, and I especially like it when you do walk in from a bright environment outdoor into a dimly lit room and you see the watch light up. Now I did mention that I'm going to have a room for improvement section on this watch, and apart from that bezel, which was a little bit stiff initially, that's sorted itself out. There's really nothing to complain here about this watch head, and I say the watch head because what my concern is the bracelet. I think that the watch head and the bracelet are completely different, mutually exclusive events, and I say this because where this company has saved money is that bracelet. Number one, the bracelet doesn't offer quick release spring bars. I really don't have an issue with that. Most times they usually upset me on the top of my wrist anyway, so that's not a real issue. But looking at the bracelet itself, you've got split pins, which personally I like, because if it's not broken, you don't need to fix it. But I'm mentioning it for your sake. Instead of having screw pins, you've got split pins, you've got a press clasp with a diver's extension. And for me, that feels a little bit flimsy. I know it's a vintage vibe and it's trying to keep to old school. Honestly, with today's technology, we've got the ability to offer clasps with fantastic toolless on-the-fly micro adjustability. Just do it. My opinion is just do it. If we're trying to be purist in this area, the watch design is an homage from something from the past. When it comes to bracelet, I just think that this is flimsy, for a better word, in comparison to the watch head. The watch head's been great. If I was to buy this watch, I'd be buying the watch head. I don't think this bracelet is on the same level, albeit it does look good. It does visually look good as a beads of rice style bracelet. I just think that having to wear this loose on my wrist all week because of wrist expansion, I really would have preferred an on-the-fly adjustable clasp. That's me, that's my personal take. A lot of you guys might disagree, and I'm happy for you to disagree. Some might say, no, keep it more purist. Whatever the case, this is my experience with a watch. I'm telling you what I've felt throughout the week. I've loved the watch head, I've loved the dial, the bezel's been great. Everything's been good about this watch. If I could change one thing, and this is on a design element, this is a subjective view, I would have loved to see a black aluminium bezel insert on this. Just something vintage would have been nice. I know they've gone stainless steel. It looks good. I've not had any issues with its looks, but also a nice black aluminium bezel. Maybe that would have set that white dial off just that little bit nicer. But as it stands, functionality wise, usability, the watch has been good, and having something with a white dial with faux patina, for me, it just seems to have brought a nice fresher look and approach to a vintage design. Lastly, price, I did mention that it's between €8.90 to €9.90 depending on rubber strap or bracelet. Although it is more affordable than a lot of the Yemas I've had on the channel recently with their in-house movements, it still is a little bit up there. I think potentially a few more dollars off that price would always be welcome. So hit me up in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think about this particular design, this watch. As far as a nice daily, this watch has ticked all the right boxes, being tool specific, being predominantly brushed, a very good footprint on the wrist, a decent reliable movement, and personally I think a dial and layout like this would really benefit from a lot of strap changes and potentially could be a nice strap monster. So be well, continue to enjoy this hobby and one another, try not to spend too much money, and above all do your research and your homework before adding any extra watches to that watch box, and we'll see you in the next one.